you're planning a sales kickoff, a couple of things. Begin with the end in mind. Really identify what does success look like? What's the outcome that we're trying to drive? Where do we want to be not only a week after the meeting ends, but 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? How can this set up my year for success? And then you start to build the content and shape the experience around that. Second thing I would really recommend if you're planning an SKO is ask your people what's on their hearts and mind. You know, I'm a big fan of co-creation, and I think asking people what they need and want, and then using that information to at least in part shape the experience is important. Part of it is relationship building and networking. I mean, I think you want your sellers to feel like they're connected to something larger than themselves. I think in building those relationships. And one of the trends I'm seeing that I love is at an SKO, more of the organization is participating. So it's not just salespeople, it's the entire customer-facing enterprise. And then the third thing, I'm real big into this idea of sort of experiential design, like create an experience. Don't jam people into a hotel ballroom and pour PowerPoints over them for 9 hours. Yeah, that's part of it, but give people an opportunity to connect, to build relationships. The Keynote Experience needs to blend inspiration and actionable content. So you want people to feel some emotional resonance and optimism and get excited about what they're doing. And there are a lot of reasons salespeople should feel that way. I think it's the greatest time in the world to be in that discipline. But also, you want to help people think about their approach to the customer, to the marketplace, so that they're in a position to win and win more consistently. Selling is getting harder. So for a myriad of reasons, but at Salesforce research, 69% of B2B sellers say the job is getting harder. You're dealing with a lot of rejection, and a buyer whose expectations and psychology is changing quickly. I'm fond of describing this moment or the era that we're in, if you sort of define things by seasons or eras, as the return to profitable growth era. So as the landscape grows increasingly competitive, as customers continue to evolve their expectations, I think there is a very clear impetus that we need to drive success and growth. A big part of the outcome objective that I see from sales executives, C-suite leaders, is that, look, we're going to celebrate, we're going to have a great time, we're going to enjoy being together, but we've got to drive an outcome or result here. And I'm going to be very clear about that from the stage, and you can be very clear about that from the stage too. You want to give your sellers some things that they can go do to be more prepared, more effective, create a stronger exchange with customers, build deeper, more meaningful relationships, articulate value through the decision cycle that ultimately puts them in a position to be more effective and win more consistently. The most important minute of a meeting or a conference is at 8:01 a.m., the day you walk into the business after the meeting is over. So, for a meeting to be successful, it should have produced some desired outcome, which typically means action. What are people going to go do and do differently as a result of the investment made? The upside of the live event is incredible. In terms of participating in a shared experience together, the stories and the memories that get created. You can get some customer insight through panels, focus groups, video. You can do some product-specific training, scenarios, simulations. You can do some celebrating. for past results and relationship building. And you can also get people really, really excited, engaged, and inspired about the future. There's no replacement for it. I think virtual learning is great as augmented learning, but even in my own life, I like to get out of my house, get out of my comfort zone, go somewhere different, be in a different set of surroundings, and immerse myself in that learning experience over the course of a few days. But I think now what you hope would happen is that you'd be augmenting some of the great work that you do in person with some type of virtual connection and learning and collaboration, or just coaching with your manager or leader so that there's throughput. I don't know there's a standard playbook. I think a lot of organizations will do a big annual meeting and then run virtual meetings as the year progresses to create some level of connection and throughput. And I would say standard. I mean, they're all different and nuanced, but 2 to 3 days certainly seems to be, because you can cover a lot in that time. A question I would consider, and I always like to ask, is how long does the momentum from a meeting like that, an investment like that, typically last? Look, in sales kickoff meetings, there's a rhythm to them. Typically they happen in January and February, or at the beginning of your fiscal year. Why? Because you're trying to re-energize everybody, bring people together, set an agenda, set goals, look at forecasting, set a vision for what the year is going to be like, and get people re-energized and excited about going and attacking that. And what you hope to be able to do is maintain momentum as the year unfolds.